All right, let's start at the beginning. The Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups, I like to call it the Ace cards, God cards. It's when we're firmly planted on our karmic path again. So it does look like you might have floated a bit for the last 18 to 24 months, but it does look like with these last shifts over the last couple of months, and looking at things, could be a bit of emotional. It might have been a little emotional the last month or so, but it looks like some big shifts and big changes happened that had to happen, whether they were initiated by you or by someone else. It does feel like you're settling into those changes. It feels a little bit more comfortable, but it does look like you went on a little bit of an emotional roller coaster, some big ups, some big downs, but now it's time to really refocus on you. It does look like you have been focusing here, there, and everywhere, and Spirit kind of brought you back to center by this big change and the things that are really necessary for you to look at and you to take care of for yourself. Cups, as I said, are emotions, feels. They're all the feels. So you may have hit a rough patch or two during this last month, during this change, which looks like it was kind of maybe not tumultuous, but very sudden. Very sudden. The Fool is crossing you here, and this can stand for, make sure not to make the same mistakes twice. Don't make foolish mistakes that you've already made in the past. But it also can stand for take a leap of faith and try something new and try something different. I'm feeling it's more along the line of try something different. It does feel like with these changes you felt a little bit foolish, either for waiting so long or the way that the changes came out. There was a bit of shame involved. Cast off that shame and guilt and all that stuff. It doesn't really work for positive growth, but it does feel like take a leap of faith. Aquarius, take a leap of faith. Try some things different. I know that Aquariuses sometimes get in a routine that they have chosen for themselves. No one has set up the rules but them. So it does feel like you need to be kinder to yourself, set a little more reasonable limits for yourself, and let go of some of the expectations around other people, and refocus on what you're capable of doing to make those changes for you. Judgment card is above you. This is also about expectations, I think. It does feel like you had a vision for the future that did not come to fruition. So don't be afraid to shift your priorities a bit. Don't be afraid to try something new. If this path did not work out the way that you wished it to, there is a new path for you and something a little healthier for you. It does not necessarily mean relationship space, but it could be relationship, could be jobs, could be home, but it does feel like a big shift has happened that wasn't necessarily your choosing, but in the long run, it feels like it will pay off and that it will be less cumbersome, less in the judgment space. And it does feel like you locked yourself into a situation, but it was set up by your own mental boundaries, not by anybody else's expectations. So be a little bit more fluid in your thinking, be a little bit more fluid in your movement out in the world. And it does feel like some action is needed. Could be a little travel, I'm feeling. It could be something spontaneous that comes up this month in August, and go ahead and jump in and do something spontaneous. All right, Aquarius, what has happened in the past is the Knight of Swords. This does feel like a person that needed your help or you needing a little help. This is an air sign as well, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. This really feels like it's external to you, but I am getting a message that trying to recreate the past is not healthy. Look forward to the future and make some changes. So that's a message I'm getting for you, Aquarius. Don't try to recreate the past. But also with this Knight of Swords, it does feel like you're able to offer your wisdom and your assistance to someone else who doesn't normally ask for help. It takes a lot for them to ask. And it does look like you rose to the occasion. This is something that's in the past position. So it's something that's probably already happened or happening now. But it does look like you're able to lend a hand, give some advice, be a guiding light for someone who needs a little extra help. And it does feel like an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. But this does feel external. It is not you. It is someone else that needs your help. So the 10 is here. It is right under the Ace of Cups, that big shift in the change, the emotional change. So it may have felt a bit of a betrayal or gossip or manipulation of some kind. But it does feel like things are coming more into balance. But it does feel like something needed to change and that someone else made that change for you, which feels a bit of a betrayal initially. But in the long run, growth is behind this. There is some healing to be had. But I am getting the message, don't wallow in the pain for too long. Feel it. Allow yourself to move through it and grow from it. Because the next card is the growth card, planting the seeds and watching it grow. So the 10 is the ending of something. So it may not necessarily been the ending of a job, a home, a relationship, but the changing of how it is processed. But something has come to an end. Looks like rather abruptly, and it looks like it's stung a little bit. It does look like you are growing from it. There's orange all over this reading here. Orange, orange, orange. And when I ask what that means, it is healing. You are finally moving towards some much needed self-help and some self-healing. For many of you, it may have been the ability to reach out and ask for some help, or just kind of going with the flow more, releasing those expectations and judgments. But it does look like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train. All these ideas that you've kind of held back are now coming to the forefront. Just pick one at a time. It does feel like there's a little exuberance about doing them all. So just pick one at a time, plant those seeds, water them, see where they go. It will take a little nurturing and a little focus of your attention for you, and not so scattered here, there, for family, friends, jobs. So start refocusing some of your energy on the projects you would like to accomplish and the things that you would like to do. Kind of bucket list things that have shifted for you. You know, you've grown and changed quite a lot, Aquarius, in the last couple of years. So your dreams, hopes, and desires must shift as well. So the Emperor is at the bottom here. This is, he's an exalted one. He is one that takes the high road when others take the low road. There does feel like this is coming out of some frustration. It is feeling like it's on the family legacy things. Some agreements we're not really able to change when we're in the thick of it, but when we take a step out of it and we see the truth of the matter, we're able to maintain our integrity, make some decisions outside of the issue or outside the gaggle of people that are making the decisions. But it does feel like a bit of either codependency or legacy codependency, things about family in general. You can only change you. You can't change others. You can bring it to their attention, but it does feel like you need to gather your integrity and make those changes even in the pressure of those family agreements. So you may have to take a step back or verbalize something that doesn't feel balanced or in integrity within the family unit. And it does feel like the bigger family unit, not mom, dad, kids. It feels like grandma, grandpa, great grandma, aunts, the whole family agreement. This could be addiction. This could be just kind of a negative mindset, something that was gifted to you just by virtue of being born into this family. It's the way that we doing things, but that will be a little challenge, it feels like, in the month of August, and it may not be within balance of your new growth. So you may have to step into integrity, speak your truth with love and kindness, and just let go. All right, this is the Six of Cups, and the Six of Cups can be a visitation from the past. This can be a message from the past. This could be bumping into an old boyfriend, old girlfriend, but something, and it's right near the family card. So it may be a situation from the past that has always happened, that's always made you feel uncomfortable, that you may have to speak up about. It could be a family member that you haven't seen in a long time from the past, or a past lover that kind of you just cross paths with. But it does feel like something from the past will revisit you briefly in the month of August to help you kind of clear the deck and clear the ways to perpetuate forward motion and growth. The Three of Cups is here, also an emotional card. This is an emotional card. That's an emotional card. So it does look like having some fun, getting together with people. It does feel like you've isolated a bit, Aquarius, over the last couple of months. Time to come out of the cave and join the party a little bit. It does feel like being around people that you feel very comfortable with, that you haven't really connected with much in the past. This could be family members that, cousins. It could be friends, could be, reunions. It's the season for high school reunions, but it's some kind of gathering that maybe you would have bowed out of over the last couple of months. So I encourage you to come out of the cave, be a little bit more social. It does look like a little bit more invitations will be landing in your email. So it's time to come out and play a little bit, Aquarius. The King of Wands is here. That's usually a pretty stoic person. That is an earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. It does feel like someone is kind of giving you a leg up and encouraging you to be in your highest creative essence. It does look like someone that's always been your cheerleader. This could be a friend that you haven't seen for a long time. It is right next to the Reveling card. So it may be reconnecting with friends of the past that you haven't. This is an earth sign, a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus. It doesn't necessarily have to be a man, but it does feel like someone that is very mature and someone that has a lot of energy and kind of does the right thing, that hasn't really been in your life all that much, that you kind of missed. So it looks like a reconnection. It looks like no tumultuous situation pulled you apart. It just feels like time and space has kind of been your enemy, and now you are able to reconnect with them in present time on a different level. And so the Ace of Wands is on one side and Strength is on the other. This is a really beautiful way to end this reading. The Ace of Wands, new ideas, expanding things, a little more action. You have movement here. It's looking like the next couple of months in your life kind of dictate a little bit more movement and a little less mental stuff, but a little bit more action. So taking those great ideas from the headspace, putting them in to the earth plane, the manifestation space, and the Ace of Wands, you're on the right path. Aces, I like to call the karma cards, the God cards. So it does look like you wandered off the path for a little bit for the last year or so, and now you're starting to get back on the path of a little bit more productivity, a little less mental anguish and confusion. But it does feel like new priorities are coming to you, is what I'm feeling, and that requires some motion. So it does take some of those great ideas from the headspace, put them into the physical plane, and set a little fire, do a little action, and you will see some validation for the work that you have been doing, but it must be brought into the physical plane in order to be validated. Be validated. You know, it's a great thought, but that's all it is a great thought if you don't put a little effort behind it. So that looks like what Spirit's asking from you is to step out of the head space and get into the motion space a little bit more. Put some fires, you know, start some fires a little bit is what I want to say. Start some fires, start some movement. It will require a little strength. It will require doing things slightly differently. So it may feel uncomfortable. Don't give up. Just keep going. If it doesn't work one direction, try another direction. But in general, Aquarius, this reading is saying step out of your head and get into the physical plane. Start motion in your life. And be strong about it. Don't be afraid to do it. It does look like your fears have held you back from your greatness in other situations. And now it's time to push through those fears. Take that first step into action. So that is your reading, Aquarius, for the month of August. It's your general reading. Let me throw a couple of these Angels in Abundance cards. These are brand new for me, so they're a little sticky. And they do have some writing on them, so I will read those descriptions for you since I'm not real well versed with these. So, attracting, not chasing. Okay. Let's see. So, and second one is words of abundance. So keep those words positive in your head. No more, I'm not enough, I'm negative this. It's I'm enough, I'm positive. I have everything I need. So keep it in the positive. I know air signs can slip into that self-degradation place, which is really not a place to grow. It does look like you are stepping out of that with the aces here and the strength card walking through some of those fears. So let's take a look. Attracting, not chasing. Anything or anyone you chase after will run the other way because of the fears underlining chasing energy. Instead, attract what you need by sending out love, gratitude, and welcoming energy. So it does look like keeping it positive. Just send it out into the universe what you want instead of chasing down what you believe you need. You know, Spirit always gives us what we need. May not be what we want, but it always is what we need in the long run. So words of abundance, that validates keeping it positive, keep that strength of mind. You have the ability to instantly manifest abundance by choosing powerfully positive words. Always describe your own and the world's economic situation in loving and optimistic terms. And that is what you attract for yourself and others. You know, our mind is a computer. Whatever you program it with, whether it's positive or negative, that's what it's going to create. So I encourage you to keep it positive, Aquarius. Keep that mindset positive and move forward through those fears.